see I'm in a little bit of a funky mood today because it's Diwali, but more on that later. I am Vidushi Sandhir. Welcome to my channel Deeply Simple. Here we break down deep concepts into simple, easy to understand and apply habits, routines and tools. Why? So that you can start living a life of wellness every single day. And I'm very passionate about this. This is something that I do in my life very consciously, which is why I have the urge to share it with everyone. So anything that I put out on the channel is either something that I have tried and tested or something that I'm trying with you all. So today is one of such tools that I'm going to actually try with you all, and kind of hopefully it's going to make a difference in my life as well as yours. So back to Diwali. Even if I wasn't wearing all this, you would know that I'm from India because of my accent and because of the way I look. I grew up there for 24 years of my life before I came to the US to study, and now I work here. I'm not religious. I don't believe in a specific God, but as I have grown older, have a few white hair, and hopefully I've grown a little wiser, I started kind of reading up more about some of the festivals, and I love the concept, like the spiritual concept that these festivals stand for. So today I want to talk about Diwali, what I think it stands at the core, and how you can use that to become a better professional or just a better person in your relationships, as a partner, as a father, as a mother, as a friend. So let's dive into it. So there is something called as a Shanti prayer. And there is a line in that prayer that I absolutely love. It's called Tamso Ma Jyotirgamye. It means take me from darkness to light. A shout out to my mom for sharing this prayer with me today morning. So I decided to meditate on this prayer, and as I was meditating, I realized that this is something that we can actually remind ourselves daily. So Diwali or Vedic tradition believes that there is darkness within all of us. I know that sounds gory, but hear me out. There is some kind of a darkness or some kind of a blockage or some preconditioning that all of us have within us that block the light of grace. And as we purify that darkness, all of us purify that darkness, we collectively purify the world as well, and we take the world from darkness to light. I strongly believe that that is the case, but even if you don't believe in that, let me break it down into very practical terms. There are certain qualities that we might have in our life, or that we end up exhibiting in our professional lives or our personal relationships, which maybe don't bring us happiness. So think of those qualities as those pockets of darkness that we might have, because if they are not bringing us life, it's an indication that something has got to give, something has to change. So we move from darkness towards Jyotirgamya, towards light. So what I did was I sat down today and I was focused on my personal relationships, but specifically my professional life, and I wrote down 3 things that I thought were qualities which were not bringing me as much happiness, the darkness, and I actually wrote down shift of attitudes that I can apply to move towards light. So I'm going to give you an example which I think is very common in the workplace. We live in a highly competitive world. I wouldn't say if I espouse that or I don't. And I think in that environment, what can end up happening is we are pitted against each other. We might end up comparing ourselves with others. And sometimes it might result into us feeling bigger than others. And sometimes we might end up feeling less than others, right? That's generally the 2 scenarios that you have. So recognizing a skills gap is a fact. But the moment you recognize a skills gap and you start ruminating over it and turn that either into self-pity or feeling less than someone else, it's not useful. That's darkness. You've moved away from light. The moment you move away from the fact and maybe you become very you're filled with pride and a lot of attitude that you're better than everybody else out there, you've moved away from light. So it's not about recognizing that maybe you have a skill set that other people don't, or other people have a skill set that you don't. That can be very useful information. It's about how you use that information. So a very simple shift in the attitude could be the next time you find yourself comparing yourself to somebody else and passing a judgment on someone else's capability, just pause and reflect. If you felt less than them, look at the qualities that you feel they are practicing that you would want to imbibe in yourselves and create a plan. How do you get there? If you feel more than them, this is the more important bit, and I think this is the more common one in New York especially. If you feel you're more than someone in your team, pause, come back to earth, and just recognize that the person in front of you is on their own path If you are managing them and if you're in a position to give them feedback, give them fact-based feedback plus resources that can help them build the skills that you think they need to progress in their career. You'll either become a leader that people look up to because you empower people to succeed, or you will become someone who is passionate and obsessive about self-development whenever you see that there is a skill set that you don't have. It is in those moments that you have to remind yourself to practice this tool. Because I'm going to practice with you all. I have my 3 areas that I'm going to work on. I hope this coming year is filled with light for you, for your family, for your friends, for your neighborhood, for your city, for the world. I hope you feel loved and cared for and warm, and you have hopes and you have dreams and you have desires and you feel alive. Very happy Diwali from my heart to yours.